Live from New York, it's a show that's celebrating another victory for Mac Jones. Oh! Hey.
QB controversy?
I mean, he...
Wilds gave up on him, Brew. You're about to become
I'm not the Mac Jones guy.
You're about to be. Also, why are we starting the show with that?
Because there's passion to it. There's passion.
You did give up on him on the little thread.
No, I didn't.
You totally threw him
First hour, first things first. We start with the...
Why'd you ask?
Well, because it was supposed to be a small quip, and you started to do a full-on essay.
I don't know how not to.
The 12 back-to-back reigning world champions who keep winning by the slimmest of margins. This time, a chip shot field goal that bounced off the upright to win the Chiefs their 9th straight AFC West title. Feel better or worse about the Chiefs after this close victory?
It was nip and tuck.
So much better. What a wonderful weekend.
And this is
it couldn't have gone better. It couldn't, because we see the Bills, who were this close to catching the Chiefs for the 1 seed.
True.
Listen, they played great. They played such a great game. We're going to talk about it later. Their quarterback probably locked up the MVP with a month to go.
Can you still rip the Bills?
No.
One of your teams.
I do believe in the Bills, and I think this year has proven out that belief was well earned. But I just love that the Bills, it's very apropos. The Bills can look amazing in a loss and have it help their quarterback's MVP candidacy. The Chiefs can look middling in a win. And of course, the question is, are we concerned? But at 5-0 in the division, I've heard from Brew all year how tough divisional games are because his beloved Ravens have a tough time with them.
Well, you said they're going to lose a division game.
And you know what? I think they probably will. I think I'll be proven right when they're resting everyone in Week 18 because they have everything locked up. And by the way, it is the best division in the conference, the second best division in all of football to the NFC North. And I know there is this narrative going around the internet that, the Chiefs have had a soft schedule because some ranking service said it was the 25th toughest. I don't know how you come up with that from this. Here's what I know. They keep beating playoff teams. No one in the NFL has beaten more current playoff teams. They used to have a win against Atlanta, well, they still do. They're not a playoff team anymore, but Tampa is now, so they get the win there, plus the 4 victories they have this year against AFC playoff teams. But most importantly, and this is the part that really made it a great weekend, Wilds, we get to add there's another addition to the Dopes complaints. We have Likely's toe. We have a properly called defensive pass interference. We have Tampa Bay not going for 2. We have Denver getting a kick blocked. We have needing a field goal against Carolina. We have a fumble against the Raiders. And now we have, as called on the broadcast, the doink for the division. So the first banner is really a service for all of those people. Add the doink to your list, losers. Because you know it's coming. You know in a couple of weeks when people are like, well, they're 15-1, but they really should be 8-8. They're going to say the doink.
It was just... I don't put that one in the same category, but it was close. They made it closer.
It's
going to be on the list.
It'll be on the list.
Oh, it'll be on the list.
Because it's
if it was a deep one, I would. Okay.
No, I mean, look. He made the kick. However he made it, he made it. Were you pausing? Because I know you got plenty.
No, you go. I was done.
There's a part of me. I think a lot of people are starting to feel this way. And I'm not saying this, I don't believe in these football guys.
But you're starting to.
No, definitely not. But you start to wonder, is there some destiny out there for the Chiefs to win? Because you mentioned a lot of them. The Denver, and I know that was a great play by the Chiefs, but still, to block that field goal attempt, the muffed fumble or, snap by the Raiders, you mentioned Isaiah Likely's toe. And then this, it could have easily, now I guess he hit it where it needed to go the right way. But if that thing bounces the opposite way, they lose. And so there's a part of you that's like, they just keep winning in these strange ways. But to answer your question, and I picked the Chargers. Not that I thought they'd be better, but that they'd win. I thought they could upset them. But I don't feel better about the Chiefs. And here's some facts, Nick. I haven't seen a team.
That's unfair.
I haven't seen a team. The Chargers really got the best of them in the second half. And I haven't seen many teams do that to the Chiefs. They outscored them 17-6. They had twice as many first downs. They had the ball for 18 and a half of the 30 minutes. Yep. They had 50 more yards and like 160 some odd yards themselves. And it looked like the Chiefs defense, which is very good, was wearing down, which I haven't seen much of that. So that's the first thing. The second thing that concerns me, Nick, and I think this will concern you, I mean, the cavalry, was it DJ Hamilton? Was he supposed to be the cavalry?
DJ Humphries.
DJ Humphries, yeah.
That wasn't great.
He struggled, which can be, and he had
I'm worried about how if the hamstring injury is significant, but I didn't think he would be great in his first game in more than a year off an ACL. But
Mahomes is starting to take punishment.
There's no doubt about
that. He was sacked, what, 3 times yesterday, 13 times in his last 3 games. 23 times in his last 6 games. That is a pace over 17 games to be sacked 65 times. Mahomes has already been sacked 35, which is a career high.
I think his previous high was 28.
27.
Okay,
28. I'm sorry,
yeah.
28.
You might be right.
So the question I'm wondering is, will these hits, because he took a lot of hits where he didn't get sacked, start to add up? And does that hinder him a little bit, going forward in the playoffs? That's a concern.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wilds.
Oh, I'm torn between you guys. I'm 100% sure the Chiefs are going to win when I'm watching the game. Would I like it to be by a more comfortable margin? Of course. Last 4 wins were by a total of 9 points. They're 15-0 in 1-score games, and obviously the Chargers are on the other side. And when the Chargers would underneath your guy, Brandon Staley, were that bad, and now it's continued. We were calling that coaching, and we were putting a little bit of that on Herbert. We were putting a little bit of it on Chargers culture. Well, this is Chiefs culture, to get wins and to do smart things and not to beat themselves. And I don't like the whole boogeyman, the fixes, all this mysterious stuff that I think people are having fun with at the same time. I think it's kind of doing a disservice to what the Chiefs are doing. Like, Chargers kicked the ball into didn't kick it to the landing zone, so they started at the 40. Yeah, it's just a stupid mistake that the Chiefs would never make. So it's like, if you want to say like, oh, it's the ghosts and the goblins of Kansas City, and not like, no, they started off on the 40 from an obvious error that you rarely see. That is all your fault. It wasn't like the Chiefs pushed you into that error. That was 100% your fault. Short field, of course he's going to get it done.
Well, you have, and everybody has to understand this, you got no margin. It's not a slim margin.
You have no margin for error.
And this is another play right here.
The Josh Palmer play? Is that
no? This is the critical 3rd and 7. I think we have it when Mahomes hit Kelsey for the first down. Here it is right here. And
you had him.
Henley has, right. You got to make that play. And I know Mahomes can be shifty, but you have no margin for error. So if they stop him there, the Chiefs have to kick the field goal.
And the Chiefs defense at that point, you're right, Brew, was giving up yards. But the thing is, you don't stop the Chiefs on 3rd downs they have to have. Yeah. And Dust, if we can just have 1 extra minute here, if you want to pull up the 2 Mahomes 4th quarter graphics. This is the other problem is, there are so many ways for the Chiefs to beat you and so few ways for you to beat the Chiefs. Because having the lead going into the 4th quarter, okay, you win 40% of the time. Yep. That is, by the way, look at that. Shout out Jimmy G, who's going to show up on a couple of these. No other quarterback is at 36%. Mahomes with his next victory will be at 60%. The next one's even more startling. Career record when trailing at any point of the 4th quarter, which means all of your losses have to be on there. He has as many wins as losses when trailing at any point. Again, shout out Jimmy G.
I'd say these are great.
Jimmy G.
This is starting to become a Jimmy
These are great Jimmy G graphics, but look at it. Tom Brady, who is known for all of this stuff, was a little better than 1-3. Mahomes, it's a coin flip. Joe Montana's 38%. And to your guys' points about the hits wearing, adding up, that's a legitimate concern, which is why it's so important they take care of business. clinch as early as possible, can rest in week 17 or 18, and they get the bye.
Say both.
Well, I don't think they would do both because it'd be too much time off.
Yeah,
but which is why, again, step 2 down. To the clinch playoffs last week, clinch the division this week, host the Arrowhead Invitational. That's looking overwhelming likely, and then win the Super Bowl. Like that's the order of operations here.
Makes sense right now. All right, meanwhile in LA, Josh Allen with a performance we haven't seen since LeBron's Miami press conference. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 touchdowns in a losing effort to the Rams-Bills. Fall to 10-3, which is still pretty good. Did Allen win the MVP last night in the loss, bro?
Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's still, as we get close to the end of the season, it's still too early. They play Detroit next week. If he has a bad game, now when they play Baltimore, he was 9 for 30. He won't be that bad. But let's say he has a bad game and they lose. That's 2 straight losses. One
what
would
if
be
he has a good game and they lose? Not this great, not 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? And they fall to 10-4.
Now look, you got Saquon, who's fouled. I'm interested in hearing if you now Bruce Ballard. I've got Josh number 1. I had him number 1 last week. I'm interested where you are on that. But Saquon's still looming. And you still got some games to play, so let's see what he does against Detroit. That said, he definitely bolstered it. I'd be shocked if Nick doesn't have him number 1, but he bolstered it. And we've talked all really the last month about how his numbers aren't spectacular. But what he's done is had these performances that are historic.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks he did something no one's ever done.
Exactly. So that's like last week it was against San Francisco, caught a touchdown, threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown. First quarterback in NFL history to do that. And then you said this, first quarterback since Otto Graham, Cleveland's own, 1954.
3 touchdowns, 3
touchdowns, 3 rush.
Yeah.
I was waiting for 3 rush touchdowns, 3 pass touchdowns. I was waiting for you guys to say, and Brew, you covered that.
Oh, no.
You covered that game when Otto Graham did it in 1954.
Yeah.
But so I think he's got these moments.
He does have these moments
where he doesn't have the stats, and they got a great record.
If it's going to be about moments, I got to tell you, if you're going to move up my fake ballot in a loss, you can't have this moment. And I got to, I'm sorry.
Cannot be. That is, you cannot be.
When the margins are that close.
The margins are
that close between him and Saquon, and you've already gotten 2 phantom roughing the passer penalties, I can't have that. He already in the game, mid-play. No, give me a break. Josh Allen on
That's not great.
It's not great.
It's not great.
For a guy who's one of the most physically imposing quarterbacks ever to also be the flopper people pretend Mahomes is really an outrage. But listen, as you said, Brew, I'm a Bills guy and a Josh Allen guy this year, which is why being Mr. Consistency, and I know it's not Thursday at 4:10, but the media ombudsman, sometimes that weighs very heavy on me because I am so. The next time I have to listen to Rex Ryan pontificate about what's wrong with the Chiefs after a win and what's amazing about the Bills after a loss, and the rest of the NFL media be in lockstep about how terrifying the 10-3 Bills are and how wildly flawed the 12-1 Chiefs are, I'm going to lose my mind. So I went to the meme streets, Wilds. Not the mean streets, the meme streets. You know this meme.
Ugly
wins and the Bills pretty losses.
It's not bad. I don't know if we're still doing that meme.
Oh, no, that meme will never die.
Did you weigh in on
Gianna,
this?
that meme still exists. So listen, I have a quick MVP question before we move on.
Okay.
Did you have my guy Stafford now with the MVP belt?
Why?
Because he beat Josh Allen head to head.
He's not even in the mix.
Oh, okay, he's not in the mix.
Next week, if Goff wants to take it.
So that is certainly he didn't lock it up. Right now, my ballot would still be Saquon 1, Josh 2. It's going to be. I thought Josh was brilliant, but they did lose, and he had that flop. And Saquon stayed on pace. Everything matters. Every little piece matters. And Saquon stayed on pace to break the all-time record. And you know they won because of him, but the running game was their best part of it. Next week's important, and you guys know I said that Jared Goff could win the MVP, and I still think that's on the board with a great performance.
Before we go, Dust, 1 second. I have a different issue with this. If you give up 44 points between your defense and your special teams, it's like the other meme when it's like, what is it, Homelander? Where he's like looking around like, wow, no one's talking about how bad we played on the other side of the ball or the two other parts. You're the Bills guy. Like the idea that the Bills are now considered scary when this was the performance yesterday.
But nobody minded when the Lions gave up 31. 8 days
the
ago.
I mean, it's 31's not 44.
No, that's
and
true.
the Bills gave up, 35 against Baltimore. I know that was a while ago, but still.
No, that's fair.
They have their moments where they get.
That's the. I think if you have either an elite offense or just great receivers, you can move the ball in Buffalo easily. So I think that's a concern. I think that is a legitimate concern.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Rams. Once the apple of your eye. They moved to 7-6 behind Stafford's 320. Virtuoso performance from Puka. Are the Rams a threat?
If they get in, they're absolutely a threat, especially because if they get in, they'll be hosting most likely because their most likely path is winning the division.
Right.
And right now that would be playing Minnesota. Minnesota's really good. Minnesota played the Rams, and the Rams beat them 30-20.
Can I put brakes on the hosting? Every game I see there is filled.
No,
with
I
the
get
other
that, but I think there's part of your value in hosting is home field, the noise. The other part is not traveling all that.
Sure.
And we've seen them in the playoffs last year and in week 1 this year play the Lions as close as you can play them, 1 point and then overtime. This is why I was flirting with the Rams early this year not early this year. Is that a doorbell?
Oh, God, we're acting.
What do you mean?
Wait, what?
I don't even know what this is.
This hot.
I told
Will you, as the leader of the show, will you read this for the audience? I don't know what it is. I didn't write it. What does it say?
This is why I'm the leader of the show. I don't like when we go too far with this.
What does it say?
To Nick Wright with little hearts over the eyes.
And is this
From
Dan
the
Fogelberg?
Rams win the NFC take.
Okay.
God.
I'm curious what it says. Those are
I'm
nice
not.
roses. All right. Well,
Rams colors?
Let's just find out. What?
The way this starts is
I want to hear this.
I gotta get here.
I'm dying.
Hey, you. It's been a couple of weeks since we talked, and I just wanted to know, I've been thinking about you. I know you've been busy, but I hope you caught the games yesterday. We were out there wowing Tom Brady, while Philly seems to be flirting with another funk. Just saying, LOL. Hope to hear from you. Fondly and lovingly, the Rams win the NFC take. P.S. I left a banner for you.
They did? I don't know what it is. Do you want to pull it down?
This is the weirdest bit.
I don't know what it
on
is.
television. It is a take.
Hold on. Let me
Flirting.
see. Oh, that is true. He is the only superhero in the conference.
What does that even mean?
I mean, it means you guys know my fondness for superhero quarterbacks rather than civilians. It's a civilian in Detroit. It's a civilian with some team dissension in Philly.
So are you breaking up with
Green
Philly?
Bay.
I'm not breaking up with Philly, but as you know,
Yeah, where are you? I don't know.
He's breaking up.
The
I'm
Philly
not
fans
breaking
are
up.
just
Bro,
starting
look at this.
I'm not breaking up.
It
I'm being
feels like
I'm
it.
being
Hey, you.
courted. But I mean, it's worth noting that I was with Chicago when I got with Philadelphia, and as they say,
Oh, yeah.
you leave them how you found them. So yeah, I mean, I would
Wandering
say
eye to
it's
begin with.
always Brew. That Rams seems. You saw yesterday the team I've been talking about. When I always include them in the contender adjacent teams.
Except they lose every other game. Where have I heard that before? When it's not even true.
No, but they're getting
I
hot,
can't say the Ravens are a contender
getting hot.
because they lose every
won 2
blue
in a row.
moon.
Yeah. I mean,
But they are
8-5
7
versus 7-6.
There's a difference.
yeah,
There's a big difference between 8-5 and 7-6.
I mean, there's one game difference.
It feels much bigger than one game.
Well, what do you mean it feels
Because it's
much
three games difference between the wins and losses.
Okay.
But I'll say this, Nick. If they get in the playoffs,
They can beat anybody.
I don't see them winning the NFC, but I do think they could spoil somebody's season.
Like
they
what
could
I was
beat like
saying
a higher
about
seed.
what I was saying about Green Bay, that they could beat
do
anybody,
that.
but hard to.
Because the defense, all the other teams have great defenses and offense.
You guys do look good together. If I was the Eagles at a bar,
He wants to go with the Rams. He's
really should.
He's never been really good with
That's
the Eagles.
right.
He's
It felt
never
like a marriage
felt
of
right.
convenience.
No, yeah.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.